6 weeks review. Number 1, in this video we will focus on fraction situations. Alright, write this problem down. Derek and Eric came home from school on Friday and found a freshly baked chocolate pie. Derek ate a third of the pie and Eric ate 1/4 of the pie. How much of the pie was left? So I want you to write this down. I want you to think about the action and the operation, and then I want you to solve it. Okay, so let's see if I can make it through this video without making a mistake. So the first action that we have is that Derek ate this much and Eric ate this much. So we've got to combine. We have to combine some parts. So when we combine, the operation is addition. Now the question asks how much of the pie was left. So from that, we get that we then, after we combine, we have to separate. So we've got to separate what they ate from the whole. So when we are separating, we have to subtract. So the first thing that we're going to do is take a third of the pie and a fourth of the pie and find out how much they ate all together. Now when you add fractions, remember you've got to find a common denominator, and in this case it would be 12. So we're going to multiply 1/3 times 4/4, and we get 4/12. So 1/3 is equivalent to 4/12. And then we're going to multiply 1/4 times 3/3 to get 3/12. And then when we add that together, that would be 7/12. So if the question said how much of the pie did they eat, this would be our answer. They ate 7/12 of the pie. But the question says how much of the pie was left. So if they ate 7/12, we have to subtract that out from the whole pie. Well, how many 12ths is one whole? 12 12ths. So if we take 12 12ths and we subtract out 7/12, we get 5/12 of the pie was left. Now, you could have drawn a picture and that would have been perfectly acceptable, but this is how to solve the problem just using numerical representation. So make sure that you understand. I think a tricky part of this is understanding that 12/12 is the whole pie. That's one whole. All right, now I want you to write down this problem. Jesse has a piece of string that's 5 3/10 inches long. This is 5 3/10. Sam has a piece of string 1 1/3 inches long. I want you to write it like this. How much longer is Jesse's piece of string? How much longer is Jesse's piece? So in this problem, we have two pieces of string, and to find out how much longer one is than the other, we have to separate one piece from the other. So when we're separating, we are subtracting. So this is subtraction. So we know that Jesse's piece is 5 3/10. If we subtract out Sam's piece 1 1/3, we should be able to find the difference between the two. So 5 3/10, I'm going to write it this way, minus 1 1/3. All right, now to subtract with fractions, we've got to find a common denominator. So I'm just going to right now worry about my fractions. So I know that 30 is a common denominator between the two. So I'm going to multiply by 3/3, because 10 times 3 is 30 and 3 times 3 is 9. And then here I'm going to multiply by 10/10. 3 times 10 is 30, and 1 times 10 is 10. So really, now I have 5 3 5 and 9/30, and I have to subtract out 1 and 10/30. Now, I'm going to have to do some regrouping. I cannot take 10/30 from 9/30. So I'm going to borrow, I'm not going to borrow, I'm going to regroup one whole. So now I have 4 wholes. And I know that one whole was 30/30. So I can take that 30/30 and combine it here to get 39/30. So now that's 39/30. 39/30 minus 10/30 is 29/30. And then 4 wholes minus 1 is 3 wholes. So what the difference between the two is 3 and 29/30 inches. So how much longer is Jesse's piece? His piece is 3 and 29/30 inches longer. Now this should be a review from 6th grade, but if you are having trouble remembering it, watch the video a couple of times and we'll talk about it more in class.